So over the past week, everybody has been talking about Sweet Baby Inc., which is an inclusion-focused narrative consultant company who has helped work on recent video games such as Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, Sable, Battle Shapers, and Usual June. But people don't just have a big issue with this company due to this company's involvement in the development of said game, but more importantly, the tactics used in order to get those changes made. GamesNosh on Twitter shows an example of this when he posted this clip with the caption, "The co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc., Kim Belair, proudly explains the method she uses to force game bosses at game studios to censor, alter, and diversify game projects she feels are problematic. Terrify them, aka threaten them with the anger of the cancel culture mob."
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups, and if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Oliver Jai responds by saying, "No idea why any game devs would want to consult with such sharks." GamesNosh responds, "Fear. What if there's something offensive in our game we just can't see because to us it's no big deal? Better get in progressive consultants that can spot them to be safe and avoid online controversy." Lander responds by saying, "And just terrify them. They are so confident and pronounced in the way they put forward these ideas against game companies. But when the tables are turned, they plead the victim card whilst trying to action it as harassment." Lol, laughing my ass off. GamesNosh responds by saying, "Because they see the online cancel culture mob and the harassment they indulge in as genuinely virtuous and making the world a better place. It's why she's proudly saying it on stage at GDC and not keeping it as a secret. The ends justify the means." Grums quote tweets GamesNosh and says, "Sweet Baby used fear, intimidation, and the threat of cancellation to get studios to make their games carry their political narrative." This is the founder's own words. Ramirez responds, "The choice is clear for developers. A, fear leftist cancel mobs who will not buy your game, or B, fear your actual customers who refuse to buy leftist garbage ideology games." Grums responds by saying, "Personal fear outweighs fear for the company you work for. This accounts for many odd decisions." Paul Seitz says, "This stops when people grow a pair and say enough. It's slowly happening, but too many people are just too afraid." Melanie Mack quote tweets GamesNosh and says, "This is standard method of operation for the woke types. Weaponize empathy and employ toxic feminine tactics, used by men as well, to threaten the reputation of their victims if they are not given full submission." Cabrutus quote tweets GamesNosh and says, "I'm 100% sure we're the good guys here." And the reason why he responded with that tweet is because he has been targeted directly by Sweet Baby Inc. Permaband explains it on Twitter when they say, "So, some Sweet Baby Inc. employee is trying to get people to mass flag an account and curator for saying whether a game has subcontracted Sweet Baby. I thought Sweet Baby appreciates the clout and networking, touting those big names they claim to collab with, getting defensive." They then show 3 tweets, the first of which being from Chris Kindred, who says, "The Steam curator harass group Sweet Baby Inc. detected is led by this person, at Cabrutus Rambo. Here's them trying to be slick so they don't get reported. Even with the discriminatory language filed off, the group itself still fails the code of conduct." They then show 3 images. The first one is from Reddit, where Radiant Emergency 91 says, "Curator's owner here. I've changed the approach to a more neutral one, in order to shield myself from any ban/reports that woke people could make. The purpose of the curator is still the same. Let people know about games involved with this company. Thanks for sharing. Sup guys? Yeah, I'm its curator. Just wanting to make people aware for those who try to corrupt our beloved hobby. Any suggestions and or questions are welcome. Thanks for sharing. I hope my Steam account doesn't get banned because of this curator. Edit. I'm not used to Reddit, and came here because a friend who knows about my curator told me about it. I'm trying to change my name here, lol." Next, they show him responding to comments on his Steam page, like this one from Roachit who says, "To avoid bans and other complications, instead of wording the reviews as tainted, I would just put a generic message of, Sweet Baby Inc. was consulted for this game." He responds, "Just changed it. Thanks for the suggestion." He then responds to another comment from Destructoid666 who says, "If we can send the same message with less loaded words, then I think we should go with the safer alternative. The higher the chance of this group surviving, the better." He responds, "Agreed. Thanks thanks for the suggestions. Chris Kindred responds by linking the Steam curator group and saying, anyway, report the fuck out of this group, and report the creator since he loves his account so much. Permaband, who was showing all of this to us, continues their thread by saying, the irony of attacking people for not having anything else to be doing, while they forcibly invading and colonizing other people's hobbies and interests, specifically games, changing things that none of them would even buy or have interest in anyway to stroke their ego. They then show these set of tweets that start out with someone called Amurilu saying, those who try to corrupt our beloved hobby, lol, and then Chris Kindred responding by saying, like you don't have anything else to be doing in your time? And then Hugsloth responding to Chris Kindred by saying, you work for a company that forces your Western values onto the work of people outside your country. Maybe you were the one who needs something else to do with your time, culture colonist. Permaband then ends their thread with a picture of an anime girl in clown makeup and the caption, if these colonizers at Sweet Baby actually believe in their heart that they are doing good work, why are they so afraid and angered at being placed in the limelight for their handiwork? Perhaps their handiwork looks terrible when seen the light of day, that they need to hide? Cabrutus responds by saying, thanks for the support, man. Rev says Disu comments on this by saying, Sweet Baby Inc. employee unlocked their account this morning to tweet garbage, and then get immediately smoked, showing that Chris Kindred tweeted out, Toriyama gave us the best and worst black characters in anime in the same series. It took range to do that. Now, those of you who don't know who Toriyama is, he is the creator of Dragon Ball, who recently we found out sadly passed away at 68 years old. So that's what Chris Kindred was commenting on. Anyways, Rev also shows that his account got suspended. Chris Kindred talks about his Twitter account being locked for a week on an alternative platform, Blue Sky Social, by saying, they got my ass. I'm guessing a few hundred gamers reported me. Cabrutus screenshots this and says, just remember that this was your doing, not mine. Learning the Law tweets about the situation when he says, I think gamers are overreacting. There is no proof that Sweet Baby Inc., Kim Belair, founder, or any of their employees are engaging in racism against society. Let's read some of their statements. Holy mother. They then show tweets from Lego Butts, who I assume is a representative of Sweet Baby Inc. in some way. Anyways, they say, pay me to shoot your white male lead game ideas. I usually get grossed out when straight white rich people kiss, but even I think those two are pretty cute. I just had a thought about trying this again with a photo of a young white person about to be ripped open, but I'm betting folks would immediately flag it as traumatic, and I'm guessing the image would get taken down before responses accumulated. Had a nightmare that I was a white male gamer. And then they show an excerpt of her talking in an article where she says, we have to look at story and narrative as one of the things that we can innovate on. Like when you bring someone in from a different culture, from a different background, from a different gender, they are going to create something that we haven't seen before. The way that we look at demographics is that we go, okay, the majority of our player base is, let's say, a white male, so we're going to make stuff for white males. But if you make something from the perspective of an Asian trans woman, and it's really strong, then it will work for people. People crave new stories. If you want to innovate, even to stay current, it's not about graphics. It's not about hardware. It's about opening up new perspectives for people. So I explain it as, it's important to game development to diversify. It's not just part of advocacy or activism. It is going to make your games better. Then the interviewer Alex responds, also, of course gamers are mostly white guys. You are making games for white guys. Try making games for somebody else. Maybe they'll show up. Another person people were calling out for going a little too far with their activism was Kotaku writer Alyssa Mercanti, who posted her article interview with Sweet Baby and captioned it by saying, I spoke to the team at Sweet Baby and infiltrated the Discord group rallying against them to try and paint a clearer picture of what the fuck is going on. And then the article was titled, Sweet Baby Incorporated isn't forcing diversity, it's happening naturally, which obviously isn't the case due to everything we've seen about Sweet Baby up until this point. But Direwolf Mage on Twitter pointed out another reason to not trust her, as she has a tweet that was made only a couple days ago where she says, hi, you can't be racist against white people. Thanks for tuning in. Learning Law also tweets about Alyssa when they show Discord messages from her and captions it by saying, most intelligent reporter infiltration ever recorded on history. Hi guys, can anyone give me your name and surname so we can ruin your life for making a Sweet Baby ink detector? The Discord messages they show start out with Alyssa saying, just curious if anyone could speak to the creation of this server / the Steam page, and why they feel monitoring Sweet Baby Ink's work is important. Still here. Why do you think that? Interesting. Is there a reason why many of you don't have your name / pictures associated with your accounts on here? Learning Law continues tweeting when he says, the fact that the Discord is in Portuguese is funny as hell. Lithium504 responds by saying, it's so weird that they don't want anyone to know the work they do. If they were proud of the games they create, you wouldn't see all this pushback. GameSense says, ah yes, you were too afraid to give me your real life info, so I can dox you, you coward. Irrational Chad says, Holy fuck, this Kotaku article on Sweet Baby Inc. is fucking dog shit. Laughing my fucking ass off. The gaming press are going to force another Gamergate into existence at this rate. Grum says, so the Kotaku Cancel Pig editor started following me. I wonder why. Hit piece coming? I followed her back. I'm pending approval. Think I'll get it? Basic Gamer responds by saying, it's kind of fun watching them use their old tactics again. It's like watching a rerun. Grums responds, it's so transparent now. When they first started, many of us actually believed the right-wing gaming journos will listen to reason. We were young. LOL. Charax responds by saying, Mercanti to Grum's followers, hey guys, how come you're not tweeting with your real names? Grums then responds with 3 laughing emojis. Grum says, if Twitter wasn't X now, nobody would have known what Sweet Baby Inc. did. Dick Masterson says, Sweet Baby Inc. just recommends that developers make every character black and gay. It's up to the devs if they actually want to do it, or they can continue being racist and homophobic. It's totally their call. The Great Rebellion says, say no to Sweet Baby Inc., showing a cancelled mark over their logo. Eurogamer tweets out their article about Sweet Baby Inc. with the caption, Spider-Man, Alan Wake, ridiculous fishing devs speak up in support of consultancy studio Sweet Baby Inc. And then it gets ratioed and community noted, with the note saying, the article fails to mention that the backlash was in response to a targeted harassment campaign initiated by Sweet Baby Inc. employees in an attempt to ban both the Steam Curator group along with the curator's personal Steam account. Curry Moo responds by saying, thankfully they'll all be laid off soon. Mark says, bunch of devs who made games that bombed like those who helped make that happen. Very persuasive. Yellow Flash says, I love that community notes exposes your lies. NDMeon quote tweets Eurogamer and says, very interesting how across the board gaming news websites unanimously began defending Sweet Baby Inc., while conveniently ignoring that all this started because one of their employees attempted to silence and ban a user for compiling their works into a list. These gaming sites are all in bed with one another. They are lying to you and want to gaslight you into believing they are the ones who are wrong. But this is just the beginning, fellas. Disparu says, devs that hired people stick up for the people. Well, duh. They all have the same belief systems. They are as much the problem as Sweet Baby Inc. This is just like Disney standing by their actors who call the fans racist. These journos are years out of date on arguments. Matsuki shows this YouTube comment and says, probably the best comment I've seen on this Sweet Baby Inc. thing. The comment they show is from Animations N1 who says, imagine hiring a company to ruin your game because 0.1% of the community that don't even want to play your game are offended it doesn't represent them. Delta169 says, no wonder IGN hasn't said a thing about Sweet Baby Inc., showing that an IGN reporter called Rebecca Valentine responded to Alyssa tweeting out her Kotaku article by saying, thank you for writing this. Know the people yelling about Sweet Baby have largely closed their eyes to the truth of it, but I think it matters to acknowledge the hate on record like this. Rebecca also quote retweets IGN posting an article about the mass layoffs happening in the gaming industry right now, and says, a few weeks ago, I ran a story where I asked game developers for their perspective on why the industry is undergoing these mass layoffs. Those same developers also told me how all this has impacted them as people. Here are those stories. Instantly blocking anyone who sees this as an opportunity to bring in the weird, oh no, game's too woke crowd, or say shit about Sweet Baby Inc. I'm begging you people to examine your hearts and put your energy toward real problems. Another person who got called out on Twitter during this whole situation was the Act Man, who had his tweets posted by Memology101 with the caption, how it started versus how it's going. He then shows a tweet that the Act Man made last September, reacting to the legendary Starfield pronouns meltdown that I also covered back then in a video if you want to check it out. But regardless, Act Man reacted to that situation by saying, gorilla-shaped man on the verge of crying because Starfield lets you pick pronouns at the start of the game, and then it's never brought up again. Somebody please shoot this guy with a bear tranquilizer. He's going to attack someone. And then he shows a tweet the Act Man made on March 3rd, where he says, so I started looking into the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff, and I can't fathom why game studios would hire a narrative consultant group. Isn't that what lead writers are for? Why not just hire a better writing team and keep it in-house? Laughing my ass off. And finally, he shows this tweet Ackman made on March 4th where he says, so they consult this firm to basically get a better social credit score with the hopes of getting more investors? I think I just swallowed my own vomit. Actman quote tweets Memology and says, to be honest, I don't recall hearing about Sweet Baby Inc. when all that Starfield discourse was going down, so I've only learned of this company's existence in the last week or so. My offer to Az is still open if he changes his mind and wants to talk with me, me, public or private. Brian responds by saying, my man, with all due respect, it's been since 2018 and the discourse has been going on for 5 years now, showing that Sweet Baby Inc. was founded in 2018. The Actman responds by saying, yeah, but there was also some big news recently which drew a lot of new eyes to the story, and I saw a bunch of my colleagues and friends talking about it. Karusu Maker responds, come on man, I like your content. Take the L with dignity. The man knew something was happening and has never stopped calling it out. Meanwhile, you were defending RE4 censorship. Not Sweet Baby Inc., but same damn problem. D-Day Cobra says, if you would have focused on the issue instead of kissing that corporate ass, you wouldn't look so retarded now. But it's good that people see you for the fraud that you are now. Nagelfar94 says, nah man, if you actually sat and listened to AZ's rant the first time, and heeded his early warnings about this stuff, you wouldn't be in this embarrassing spot. You took a coward's way out, and took what seemed the safest position to take at the time. You mocked him when what he was saying was true, and a lot of us knew these companies had been doing crap like this, inserting ideology into entertainment for a long time. You had that choice, and you blew it. Personally, I wouldn't want to sit down and talk after something like that. Yeah, call the dude a gorilla-shaped man. Suck my dick, honestly. I hope this is a lesson you learn, and anybody else next time someone blows the whistle on something early on. The earliest you catch something, the more can stop potential mass damage. Hold your L you just took, you coward. So the guy who had the Starfield pronoun rant meltdown, called AZ or As, goes by Heel vs Babyface on YouTube and Twitter, and he responded to Actman when he quote tweets him and says, we had opportunity to speak. I lost interest when you were talking out of both sides of your mouth. One side saying you wanted to talk and were trying to arrange a time, the other side making videos shitting on me for views, as you were just another content engagement farmer. You showed me who you were. Someone not worth the time of day. Nerderotic says, how often will Actman change his mind in the next 24 hours? That's the question. Cult Classic Cage says, way to make this situation about yourself again like you did with Starfield. The Actman quote tweets Heel vs Babyface and says, look dude, I got the DMs that expose everything you said here as a lie. I'm still willing to talk to you private or public, and not go down that route, but if you continue spreading lies about me, then that's what I'm gonna do. Your call. Like I said, my DMs are open. X Impetus responds by saying, you seem desperate. Actman responds, I'm desperate for them to put up or shut up. If they want to expose me, I'm offering a golden ticket for that opportunity. If they refuse, then they should shut the fuck up and crawl back to their safe space echo chamber, where they aren't afraid of the big bad Actman. Dylan Howard says, don't give him the time of day, he's a grifter. Even if you do come to an agreement, he'll still say things behind your back, cause him and other grifters like him will do anything to get engagement and clicks, and if he does talk nice about you, it's only if it's profitable for him. Treazel says, just admit you jumped the gun and tried to mock AZ without knowing anything he was talking about. It sounds like you wanted to be on the right side of things here, but you were too prideful to just say, sorry, I screwed up. It's not as difficult as you think it would be. Heel vs Babyface quote tweets Actman and says, we never DM'd each other. All negotiation of a discussion was done through a mutual. Actman responds, it was done through a mutual third party because you weren't willing to reach out to me directly. My DMs are still open. Reach out to me now then. AZ responds, as with 6 months ago, you have nothing I need to hear. Have a nice life. DV says, so now he needs to reach out to you? Actman responds, dude, this is the 5th time I've reached out to him. He's never reached out to me. Jedi Liam64 says, it's hilarious that he says he has the DMs to prove it, and yet doesn't show them. Actman quote tweets Heel vs Babyface and says, yeah, all negotiation was done through a third-party mutual because you hadn't grown a pair and reached out to me directly and your DMs are closed. Despite this being the 5th time I'm offering to talk to you privately or publicly. You gonna talk to me like a man or what, bro? D-Day Cobra responds by saying, your pathetic behavior right now is why he won't talk to you. You're riding that Twitter algorithm getting tons of likes and retweets, all while taking personal shots at him. You won the battle. He's winning the war. Keep talking and keep making it worse for yourself. Boy says, couldn't have put it better myself. It's easy to speak up for something when it's socially acceptable, but backpedaling, as soon as the puppet strings start to shine in the light, is plain cowardice. Scissorp says, you're gonna talk to me like a man or what? Attacked his appearance, didn't bother reaching out directly, made videos on him while negotiating. These are not manly traits, homeboy. You were not the alpha male you were making yourself out to be. And I'm sorry, Scissorp, but in my opinion, these aren't very manly traits either.
Bethesda, there is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself, think, oh my God, just think of this world, just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And you know, I love nothing more than, with all of that laid out in front of me, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us. Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
But anyways, that's about it for the video. As you may have been able to guess, I don't really agree with heel versus babyface in his argument with Actman, and the general call out of Actman being hypocritical for calling heel versus babyface ridiculous, while also criticizing Sweet Baby Inc., as Sweet Baby Inc. is allegedly intimidating game developers into making these changes, or actively censoring negative discussion about them online through that Steam curator page. And I think what they're doing is a lot different than Starfield in a custom character creator, allowing your character to be referred to as she, her, he, him, or they, them. Those are the 3 most used pronouns, with they, them also being used a lot to describe people where you don't know their gender, so you just say they. It was a pretty normal feature and really insane for him to freak out to the extent that he did. But that's just my opinion. I would love to hear all of your guys's on Sweet Baby Inc., heel versus babyface, or any other thing talked about in this video in the comment section below. If you want to catch up on the heel versus babyface thing, I also have a video on that you can check out on the end screen right now. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.